ॐ श्री गणेशाय नमः। ॐ श्री सरस्वत्यै नमः। ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ ध्यायामि चिन्मयानन्दं गुरुदेवं महामतिं प्रेमपूर्णं क्रियाशीलं सदा लोकहिते रतं कृपालुं सुन्दराकारं समर्थं सत्यदर्शिनं वाचा तत्त्वप्रकाशिन्या शोकमोहविनाशिनम्। ॐ श्री सद्गुरुभ्यो नमः। ॐ रामाय रामभद्राय रामचन्द्राय वेधसे रघुनाथाय नाथाय सीतायाः पतये नमः। ॐ श्रीरामाय नमः। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्। ॐ श्रीकृष्णाय नमः। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम्। परमानन्दमाधवम्। हरि ओम, सुप्रभातम। We will chant the few shlokas which we have completed together. ॐ शुक्लाम्बरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। यस्य द्विरदवक्त्राद्याः पारिषद्याः परशतं विघ्नं निघ्नन्ति सततं विश्वक्सेनं तमाश्रये। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। The next one, normally Satchidananda Rupaya is chanted. As far as the chanting is concerned, we will place this shloka here, but the explanation is concerned, I will explain later, for the simple reason the traditional regular common Mangala shlokas are in one format which we will understand, we will chant and understand. Bhashyakar Acharya Shankara starts the Bhashya with the Mangala shloka of Satchidananda Rupaya. Therefore, this we will take it at that time. For chanting purpose, we will take it here. But for understanding, we will take it when we start the Bhashya portion. Remember, I am not going to take Bhashya line by line or word by word, but definitely it will be based on the Bhashya. Satchidananda Rupaya कृष्णाया क्लिष्टकारिणे नमो वेदान्तवेद्याय गुरवे बुद्धिसाक्षिणे व्यासं वसिष्ठनप्तारं शक्तेः पौत्रमकल्मषं पराशरात्मजं वन्दे शुकतातं तपोनिधिम्. Up to this we have seen yesterday. Now we will continue. Vyasaya Vishnurupaya Vyasaya Vishnurupaya Vyasaya Vishnurupaya Vyasarupaya Vishnave Vyasarupaya Vishnave Vyasarupaya Vishnave Namo Vai Brahmanidhaye Namo Vai Brahmanidhaye Namo Vai Brahmanidhaye Vasishthaya Namo Namaha Vasishthaya Namo Namaha Vasishthaya Namo Namaha. Together. Vyasaya Vishnurupaya Vyasarupaya Vishnave Namo Vai Brahmanidhaye Vasishthaya Namo Namaha. Continuing the Veda Vyasa Vandana, the shloka says, Bhagavan Shri Vedavyas Ji is none other than Bhagavan Vishnu himself. Look at the shloka. Vyasam, what is it? Vyasaya Vishnu Rupaya. Meaning what? Vyasa Maharshi himself is Vishnu and Vishnu himself is Vyasa Maharshi. There is no difference. Like how we say Shankaracharya is Shiva Avatara, we say. Many people believe that way. Of course, all said and done, these are all beliefs. These are all faith which people might have. Right? And they cannot be wrong also all the time. Looking at the kind of work, looking at the kind of knowledge which they have spread at the time it was required. Think about this. Without Vedavyasji, what can we imagine about the Shastra itself? Shravana Matrena, from the Guru to Shishya, again Guru to Shishya, when the Shishya becomes the Guru, then to his Shishya, it was carried on. Those days, the minds were very pure. Therefore, the leakage or the loss of certain, still so many might have been lost over the decadence of time. But those days it might not be that much. It was scattered everywhere. Every Maharishi in his seat of meditation, he could visualize the mantra. Once he visualized the mantra, he gave it to his Shishya. And the mantra was carried that way. It is only because of Vedavyasji today we have this many Upanishads and everything so that we can gain the knowledge even today. Otherwise, probably the whole Vedanta literature would have got lost. How many of us think even today? In fact, this particular thought is there I remember some of the very top members of the Chinmaya mission were speaking, that right from the beginning, if Gurudev's talks were recorded, we would have not lost many of his talks. Right from the beginning, if Swami Vivekanandaji's talks were recorded, we would have not lost many. Like that, many people speak. Isn't it? Even in the modern era, if we have to say like that, what to talk of the ancient time when all technologies were not available. However, it was the great vision and action. Vedavyasji's vision, his mission and his action in terms of transferring the knowledge of the Sanatana Dharma to the next generation itself proves he cannot be none other than Bhagavan Vishnu, who has taken the avatara of Bhagavan Vedavyasji for the sake of giving this world the greatest knowledge. Therefore, no amount of gratitude will suffice towards Bhagavan Sri Vedavyasji. The best way is accept him as the very Vishnu avatar. Therefore, Vyasaya Vishnu Rupaya Vyasa Rupaya Vishnave. Bhagavan Vishnu himself is Vyasa Maharshi and Vyasa Maharshi himself is Bhagavan Vishnu. Whichever way you say, the knowledge is one and the same. You know, he is also called Trimurti Avatar. How? There is a beautiful shloka which says, Achatur Vadano Brahma Dvibahur Aparo Harihi Aphala Lochana Shambhu Bhagavan Badarayanaha. What a beautiful shloka. Achatur Vadano Brahma. Brahma has got 4 heads. Chaturvadana. Vadana is face, head. Achaturvadana means what? The one who is Brahma without 4 heads. Achaturvadano Brahma. But remember, he has created the Veda itself for all of us. In the manner of saying, it is compilation, no doubt. But from our standpoint, he has actually brought it forward to all of us. Therefore, Achaturvadano Brahma. Dvibahur Aparo Harihi. The one who has only 2 hands. Dvibahuhu. The one with 2 hands. Meaning Hari. Hari here we have 4. Of course, because of Alankara, today only their tip is seen. You know, Bhagavan Vishnu, Shankha Chakra Gada Padma, Chaturhasta. But Bhagavan Vedavyasji, Dvibahur Aparoharihi, he is one with 2 hands. Hari with 2 hands. Aphalalochana Shambhuhu. Phalalochana we call Bhagavan Shivaji, Maheshwara. Phala means forehead. Lochana, eye on the forehead. That is why he is called Trinayana. Shiva is called Trinayana. Why? 2 normally we see in all the Shiva pictures we see. And there is one 3rd eye. And 3rd eye is Jnana Chakshu. For Shiva, 3rd eye is called as Jnana Chakshu. In fact, to be frank, all of us also have got that 3rd eye, but not visible. I will come to that. Bhagavan Shivaji has got this 3rd eye, but it is Jnana Chakshu which is present and it is being fully utilized in case of Vedavyasji. Therefore, Aphalayo Alochanaha. He has got unseen 3rd eye, we may say so. Therefore, Aphala. not seen. Shambhu. So he is Shambhu without the third eye, seen. Bhagavan Badarayana. Badarayana is also another name. We will discuss about that. I was talking about Phalalochana. Why did I say that all of us also have got? See, very good example I will give. Whenever we write the exam, write an exam, give an exam, and in the examination hall, the question paper has come, we have kept the answer paper ready, our pen is ready. While writing the answer, sometimes we forget, rather most of the time we forget. Then we struggle to remember and then write. Is it not? Some of them, yes, our favorite subjects, it just comes. And whenever we don't remember, generally, exception sustained, generally what do? Generally we put our hand like that. I forgot what happened, where is what. Don't we do this? Have you seen others doing it also? Isn't it? Why do we have to put it here, put our hands here? Why can't we say, oh, I forgot, oh, I forgot? No, we don't do that. Is it not? The chakra here is called as memory. And therefore, we should not lose the memory. This is where we lose memory. And that is why a bindi or a gandha is put there for two reasons. One, it cools the body, and two, it retains memory. It cools the body. Why it should cool the, we require something to cool the body. Why? Whenever the blood pressure increases in our body, there is a valve here which breaks open. That is very important. When it breaks open, the blood oozes out through the nose. This is very safe indication. Otherwise, the blood will go to the brain and brain hemorrhage can take place. Therefore, to keep the particular place cool, gandha or kunkuma is put, not the sticker bindi. Kunkuma. In those days, only kunkuma was used. Proper traditional kunkuma. Right? That is put there for these two reasons. One, to keep the body cool, and two, to retain memory. In today's world, it has become a fashion not to wear the bindi, even people who are married. Having married, they look like, whenever it is a custom, there is a program where if somebody loses, if one lady loses her husband, to remove that bindi is a part of the kriya, karma. That important is this bindi. But we don't know the importance, we don't have that knowledge, our elderly generation has not transferred that knowledge, therefore it has become, like sheep technology, we imitate the Westerners. The Western culture we imitate. Our culture is so great. Our culture is so beautiful. In fact, Westerners take to our culture and we unintelligently take to Western culture when our culture has got logical reasons to follow such practices. It is so scientific. It is logical. It is rational. Every single tradition in our Sanatana Dharma is so scientific, is so logical. But because we don't know and we have a fascination for the foreign cultures, we like sheeps imbibe such culture and lose the beautiful tradition, beautiful culture which our Rishi Parampara has given us. It is not only that the youngsters go to college and take such culture from their friends. Unfortunately, the parents also don't insist. Why don't insist? Parents themselves are like that. Think. It is a choice. If the other countries can take to our culture and respect our culture, why are we not doing it? Think. There were days when the children must offer physically, they must offer namaskaram to their parents every day in the morning. Physically touch the feet of the parents. Not like, an aerobic exercise. Properly. Why? It has a reason. A mind, right from childhood, a mind that surrenders, bows down to the feet of the parent will not stand against the parent. Today, we have the culture in the younger generation who stand against the parents for everything. Questioning is good. But questioning out of arrogance is bad. Why do they do that? Because that mind has not been given the culture of bowing down at the feet of the parent. I sincerely request every parent who have got smaller children, now bigger children cannot start the new culture. You have already spoiled them. The smaller children, give them that culture and they will grow so beautifully. That flower will blossom so wonderfully. Think. Therefore, the bindi is so very important. And it represents Jnana Chakshuhu. Aphalalochana Shambhuhu is a name given to Vedavyasi, where that Jnana Chakshu is not seen as though physically, but actually his work indicates that he is the highest Jnani. And then Bhagavan Badarayanaha. Look at that shloka, they declare him as Bhagavan himself. And Badarayana. Who is Badarayana? Why is he called Badarayana? It seems Vedavyasji would sit under a Badari Phala Vriksha. Vriksha tree. Under a tree of Badari Phala. It's a small fruit. Maroonish color. I don't know the name in the state language, in the Kannada language. In Tamil it is called as Yalanda Palam. Probably you can check with the Google Ananda. What is it called? But in Samskrita, that fruit is called Badari Phala. And he was sitting under the Badari Phala Vriksha and he wrote all the Granthas including Brahma Sutra. And therefore, he is also called Badarayanaha. Now see, his original name was Krishna Dvaipayanaha. Krishna Dvaipayanaha because he was born in a Dvipa, in an island, it is said. And Krishna has got two meanings. It is generally, traditionally people the commentators say, one is Krishna could have been the name kept by his parents. And very many times we call somebody with their nickname, isn't it? So people might have called that person who has come from the island. So Krishna Dvaipayana. This is a traditionally accepted and believed name. Right? But he is also called Vedanta Bhaskaraha, Vedabja Bhaskaraha. Bhaskaraha is Surya. Vedanta Bhaskaraha means he is the very Surya for the Vedanta Shastra. Just as a lotus flower, the moment Surya comes up, it blossoms completely, opens up. Such a beautiful flower opens as soon as the sun rises, and when the sun sets, it closes down. Similarly, Vedanta Bhaskaraha, he said, because he is in his under him, the whole Vedanta Shastra came up, the whole Vedanta Shastra was spread. Today, whatever Veda we see today, we hear today, we learn today, it is only because of Bhagavan Vedavyasji. Therefore, he said, Vyasocchishtam Jagat Sarvam. He is the best among everybody in this Jagat. He is the ultimate, because it is only because of him today we have come to know about our own true nature. We have come to know about Bhagavan. It is only because of Shri Vedavyasji. Continuing. Avikaraya Shuddhaya, Avikaraya Shuddhaya, Nityaya Paramatmane, Nityaya Paramatmane, Nityaya Paramatmane, Sadaika Rupa Rupaya, Sadaika Rupa Rupaya, Sadaika Rupa Rupaya, Vishnave Sarvajishnave, Vishnave Sarvajishnave, Vishnave Sarvajishnave, Avikaraya Shuddhaya Nityaya Paramatmane, Sadaika Rupa Rupaya Vishnave Sarvajishnave. Now, having saluted the Acharya Bhagavan Shri Vedavyasji, this shloka offers vandanam to Bhagavan Vishnu. Avikaraya. Now the Bhagavan Vishnu is described. Avikaraya. Vikara rahitaha Vishnu. Vikara rahitaha, the one without any modification. Without modification meaning what? Modifications can happen only within the framework of time, space and causation. Bhagavan Vishnu, who is beyond, he transcends the framework of time, space and causation. And another meaning is, it is from him the time, space and causation has come out. He is the very cause for time, space and causation. Therefore, time, space and causation cannot affect Bhagavan Shri Vishnu. Therefore, modificationless. Vikara rahita means the one who has no modification. Shuddhaya. What do we mean by Shuddhaya? Pure. Pure meaning what? He is in his Swaswarupa Sthiti. natural state. What is this natural state? I'll give a good example. One more word is swabhava sthiti. Like for example, I go to the kitchen, take one vessel of water. What is water? H2O. We have learnt, isn't it? I keep the water on the gas stove and I boil it to 100 degrees centigrade. It is boiling. And I bring that water and keep it in this room. Will that heat in the water continue for all time? No. What will happen? Once it is brought and kept in the room, slowly the heat in the water reduces. Continuously it keeps on reducing. And what does it, where does it stop? When it comes to room temperature. When it comes to room temperature, it remains. Further, it will not reduce. Acha, if Lakshana of this water is to reduce temperature, I will do one thing. I go put it into the freezer and make it into ice, ice cube or ice. And I bring it here again and keep. Now see how much you can reduce. Then it will not reduce. It will start gaining heat. From where? From the nature. From the nature, it gains heat. The ice piece melts to become water. And still the water will be very cold. It doesn't stop there. The water, the cold water again gains heat from the nature to come up to the room temperature. Once it comes to room temperature, no further will it gain heat, it remains undisturbed. Meaning, 100 degrees centigrade in the water is not its swabhava, or freezing point is not its swabhava. Think. It comes to room temperature, and once it comes to its sahaja sthiti, natural state. Now we are talking of a place where I am sitting in Mysuru. If you go to Alaska or somewhere, that is its room temperature. So we have to accept it. That is why I said room temperature wherever you are. Once it comes to that, no more heat will it gain, no more cold will it gain. It will become sthiti, sahaja sthiti, swabhava sthiti. And anything other than that is not its swabhava, and therefore it is ashuddham. This is in terms of its sthiti. In terms of its content, anything other than H2O, anything other than H2O is not pure water itself. Anything other than H2O is impurity in water. Now you have all these bottled waters, isn't it not? Pure water, pure ghee they sell, is it not? What do you mean by pure water? If you test it in a lab, you will find how pure it is. If you go and check the ghee, you will find how pure or impure it is. So purity and impurity is decided by the content and sthiti. Here, Shuddhaya. Who is Vishnu? The one who is in his Swabhava Sthiti. Meaning, he is uncontaminated, pure consciousness alone. Then what are we? We are contaminated by ahankara. Think. We are contaminated by ahankara, identification with the limited being called body, mind and intellect. Whereas Bhagavan Vishnu is that Swarupa of his own true nature, which is Parabrahma Swarupa Paramatma himself. Therefore, Shuddhaya. And then Nityaya. Nityaya means what? Eternal. He is eternal when we say he is beyond time. Beyond time meaning what? Where there is no janana, marana, rahitaha. There is janana, marana, rahitaha Vishnu. There is no birth or death in him. This is why it is. That is why he is called eternal. Paramatmane. He is the ultimate Parabrahma Swarupa Paramatma. He is the Atma of all the Jivatmas. Think. He is the Atma of all the Jivatmas. In each and every one of us, he alone is there. In fact, Vedanta says each and every one are nothing but him alone. But due to ignorance, because of our unintelligent identity with the Maya Prapancha and this body, mind and intellect, we appear to be having an independent individual jiva and we identify ourselves with only this much and nothing more than this. But once the knowledge of the Supreme comes, you will find that Atma, because of which I am what I am, without which I am calcium, carbon, phosphorus, because of whom this is working today, and once that Atma leaves, in a manner of saying, there is nothing called Atma leaving out of me. Atma is present everywhere, but the moment it stops functioning through this body, you will find within no time this body disintegrates, dismantles, decomposes itself. But Vishnu is one who has no identity with the body, etc. He is the very Antaratma of everyone and he is the Paramatma. Therefore, Paramatma Sada Eka Rupa Rupaya. Sada meaning what? At all times. That is why he is beyond time. At any given period of time, from his own standpoint, please note, he is Eka Rupa. Eka Rupa means what? He is Sat Chit Ananda Swarupaha, Parabrahma Swarupaha. He might have taken avatara. Even during the avatara, his Swaswarupa is always Eka Rupaha, Atma. Please note, all these are words. All these are words. Why these words are required? For us to direct our mind and intellect and comprehend. Our mind and intellect cannot comprehend that Supreme. It is like a whole vessel of, let us say, buttermilk. Why it is summer here? Buttermilk, one whole patre of buttermilk is there. How much can a small tumbler hold? To the extent. This tumbler cannot hold the complete buttermilk in the vessel, is it not? Why? The tumbler is limited. Similarly, this mind and intellect is so small, is so limited that it cannot comprehend that supreme. However, our attempt is to understand that there is a supreme. Our attempt is to understand that that supreme is infinity. And our attempt is also to understand that we cannot understand with our own limited mind and intellect. But do you mean to say we give it up? Oh no, this is not possible, so I give it up. No, then we continue to suffer in this world, identifying ourselves with this limited, ephemeral, perishing, impermanent body, mind and intellect. Therefore, I need to direct myself to understand to the extent possible. Now see, our understanding is intellectual understanding. To apply that intellectual knowledge of the Supreme in our day-to-day life and accept this ephemeral world, this jiva, this limited life here, accepting its limitations, at the same time attempting to identify with the true nature, not get carried away by the things, beings and situations. At the same time, remain a Sakshi undisturbed. One will find that eternal peace. That is the true nature. For us, so much of attempt is required, whereas Bhagavan Vishnu, that is his sahaja sthiti. Therefore, sada eka rupaha. Bhagavan Vishnu, Vishnave. Vishnave, the one who pervades. We discussed, and we will also be discussing once we start the Nama. Sarvajishnave. Sarvajishnave, in the literal meaning, the one who has conquered everything. But in fact, from the highest standpoint, there is nothing other than him to conquer. He is the Supreme. Therefore, Sarvajishnave. Now, the next shloka we will chant. Yasya smarana matrena, yasya smarana matrena, yasya smarana matrena, janma samsara bandhanat. Janma samsara bandhanat. Janma samsara bandhanat. Vimuchyate namastasmai. Vimuchyate namastasmai. Vimuchyate namastasmai. Vishnave prabhavishnave. Vishnave prabhavishnave. Vishnave prabhavishnave. Yasya smarana matrena janma samsara bandhanat. Vimuchyate namastasmai Vishnave prabhavishnave. Om Namo Vishnave Prabhavishnave. Om Namo Vishnave Prabhavishnave. Up to this is the Mangala Shlokaha. All these shlokas are Mangala shlokas, which is chanted traditionally. The meaning of this we will see tomorrow, and after this is when Acharya Shankara enters. to start his Bhashyam. So tomorrow we will see the meaning, and you will find this shloka is the most popular shloka which is oft quoted in many of the Vedanta platforms. And this confirms the nature of the Supreme Consciousness represented in the form of Bhagavan Narayana, Bhagavan Vishnu, which we will see tomorrow. As the tradition goes, no knowledge has to be gained free of cost. Therefore, there is no fees for these classes, but the tradition has given an opportunity to clear our Rina. There are 3 Rinas: Pitru Rina, Deva Rina and Shastra Rina. And this Shastra Rina is cleared through Guru Dakshina. Right? So, this many of you know, it is for those who have been attending, who have started attending these classes from the beginning. Those of you who are interested may offer your Guru Dakshina online. And now the display screen here will display the details where you can offer your Guru Dakshina. The bank account number, everything is there. So it is directly bank transfer. It is a trust account. Therefore, income tax exemption under section 80G is also available. And the request is, once you make your contribution, we request you to, I have made a small box there where I have written, please WhatsApp the details. Once you send your Guru Dakshina, please WhatsApp your details so that a valid receipt is drawn and the receipt will be sent to you to your address, which you may claim the 80G facility if you need to. Your complete name, full name, as you will submit in the records, complete address with PIN code, very, very important, with PIN code, your mobile number and PAN number, you may please send it to the WhatsApp number which is given there, 807-3044-870. And any enquiries you may send through WhatsApp. In this number, we won't accept calls. This is only WhatsApp number. Therefore, whatever you want, you may send. Whatever enquiries you have, clarifications you need, you may send it to this number. And of course, once you send the Guru Dakshina, your details are very, very important. You may send through GPay, you may send through NEFT, you can send through online transfer. Or if you don't have those facilities, you may also send a check to our address. And the address is given, our landline number is given, our email ID, website, all are given for your information. So you may draw a check and post it to this address. We will meet tomorrow, the last day for this series. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Tat Sat. A very important point for your information is Sadhana Mandira Ashram, Acharya, the workers are all maintained with this Guru Dakshina. So you may wonder, where does this go? It is with this Dakshina we maintain the ashram, Acharya and the workers. Thank you. Hari Om.